Hello, hello, and welcome. I'm Mercy, the head game master here, HereThereBeMonsters, and we're back with another Working Wednesday stream. Today is Wednesday, the 23rd of July, and we have had a lot of D&D. We had a Kingdom session on Saturday last week. We had Chronicles session 2 days ago on Monday, and we have another Kingdom session here on this upcoming Saturday.
YouTube stream is now live.
It is indeed. Thank you, Lumia Stream. That was actually one of the fastest that Lumia's ever reacted to that. Thank you so much for being here. We do have a lot to get done today. I'm going to do my best to be focused. We'll see how it goes. We left off on we often try to leave off on cliffhangers, but I think this last weekend's was a particularly interesting one. It was a little different than some of our normal cliffhangers. Exactly, Kale. And thank you for being here. How are you doing today? Hello, Timo. Let's see. We did catch up on Amina's training checks finally. Doing good. Just got home from work. You're chilling. Good deal. Well, thanks for coming and chilling with me. Hello, Tom. How you doing? So how far did you get on the pre-roll? You did on the last session. Not very far. It was one of those. So two reasons. It was one of those sessions where there was like not a lot of time in game passed because we focused in on a couple of like specific scenes, and two, the party did not go the direction that we were anticipating, literally or figuratively. So we'll save all those rolls and use them in the future, but they're not going to be needed for a little bit here. Good to see you, Tom. I hope you're having a good day. Doing pretty good. Doing some cleaning and organizing it well, working from home. How's Mercy today? Hope I'm feeling better. Yeah, I am. Thank you. Monday morning into kind of Monday afternoon, my stomach was still a little flighty, but it mostly calmed by Monday night, and the exhaustion's gone. So I don't know what it was, just some sort of 24-hour stomach bug. Well, I try not to set goals for what I want them to do, because I learned long ago that that's rare to happen. But we make educated guesses. We make educated guesses. And to be fair, I did know last time that we were kind of prepping for like one of two major forks. We just didn't have time to prep both of them. So now we prep the other one. I think I'm going to make a separate document. Yeah, probably some of that too. To be honest, I haven't gone too much easier on myself since then, but a little bit. And it's going to be ramping up again here. We got next Magic set pre-release this Friday. That was the wrong sound effect button, but it's fine. Yes, indeed. The Edge of Eternities. I think it was a huge missed opportunity. They just did their Warhammer 40K collab like within the last year. It would have been cool to have a full set because it wasn't a full set. But at least if it wasn't going to be a full set, you'd think that you would want to release the Warhammer 40K Commander decks like as the Commander decks for the Edge of Eternity set, or somehow coordinate those things. But they did not. It does look pretty cool. I got some really good deals on the product that I'm buying, so I'm very excited to get that stuff opened up. Collector booster boxes are up to like 440, and I got 5 of them at an average of like 285. So pretty solid margin there. Yeah. Yeah, now I mean you got to add tax onto that 285, and you got to take fees and shipping out of the 440s. Those are gross, not net, but still comes out to about 300 and 390 respectively. So it's still like a 30% net margin, which I'm very excited about. Oh. Got into the wrong folder here. I don't know where I want to put this. Like the information that we pre-rolled last time. I don't know where I want to store that. Because without being spoilery, this is going to sound strange if you're not, if you weren't able to be at session last week here. But we're probably not going to need those rolls for a while. What are we working on today? Give me just 1 sec to finish the thought here. There will be some of the video will be not just staring at my face because of part of what we have to do today. So that'll be nice. But just 1 sec here. There we go. So we had, for the campaign that I'm GMing, we had session both last Saturday and this upcoming Saturday. So we've got a fairly quick turnaround on finalizing my notes from last session and then prepping my notes for this upcoming session. Which both of those are fairly quick because I do so much prep on my notes. So finalizing the notes isn't too much. Oh, and I guess an XP should be down here too. But finishing the notes and giving XP for last session, prepping the notes for this next session, which is kind of just like structuring the format of the notes. Then in the notes, it will go like the encounters. So we need to roll random encounters for the region that they're currently in. We need to roll random weather, which again, no spoilers, but is probably about to be more pertinent than ever. And then we're going to do some board searching for Tailspire. So we need a new biome. That we have not thus far needed. At the moment, I've more or less already finished the episode 40 notes. I do need to do one last audit of that. Do I need biome ideas? No, I don't. Thank you. I'll give a spoiler warning for anybody that does care, but I'll explain at a very top level what's going on there in just a second. But I know the biome and the general ecology, but we don't currently have any boards for our virtual tabletop that represent that. But I appreciate the kind of implicit offer there to help brainstorm. Got encounters, challenges, encounters, and weather. 18th through 20th of late. Okay. There's that. Okay, I'm going to do earmuffs really quickly, and I'll actually pantomime it for anybody that cares about spoilers. So 3, 2, 1, earmuffs. I won't recap the whole session because obviously in general we want to encourage folks to be there and or to watch the videos when they get posted. But as it pertains to what we need to do today, they have decided to climb the Serpent Spine Mountains, which are the like Cascades-ish mountain range. Probably even a bit taller than the Cascades, but close enough. The Cascades-ish mountain range that separates the Kingdom of Rin from the rest of the continent proper. So we left off with them above the snow line on the mountain and starting to face the effects of the weather and like the ecology there. So we need some game boards that look snowy. Yeah, there is more to it than that for sure, but that has not even been revealed to the player characters or the watchers yet. That's the short version. For some reason this is still living in my session notes, but we did homebrew something a couple of working streams ago for harvesting of poisons, and apparently I never wrote that down. I never gave that a proper home like in our public folder, so it's just been living in our session notes in kind of like my footnotes section at the bottom ever since then. So let's get that out of there. I drive by. Hello. You have to leave at heckin' 6:20 a.m. Gross to get to work. After you shower and prep breakfast, take your meds, and it's gonna be at 5 a.m. Is that gonna be like the normal time for the summer, or is there something special going on tomorrow? This is definitely not as pretty as I usually try to make my notes, but I think it's enough to look into. So for poison harvesting, the DC to harvest the poison equals the resist DC if the poison were to be used on you, plus its damage roll. So it's harder to harvest poison than it is to like resist it. You make it the main check with survival, but anybody who's helping can roll a survival or knowledge nature to help. If you fail the roll, the poison, you don't get a high enough quantity of poison, so you have to dilute it to get enough quantity to be useful, which means that you degrade the poison level by 1 for each number below the DC. So if you were trying to harvest a DC 19 poison from an animal that you killed and you rolled an 18, you would get the quality of poison 1 level below like what you were hoping for. Yeah, that needs to be cleaned up, but I'm not gonna spend any more time on that today. I just wanted to make sure that it still made sense when I transcribed it over into a separate document. No, you're covering an 8 to 4 shift. Tomorrow's day of your regular 9 to 5 because of vacations and such, but it's like an hour. Oh, gross. Well, I'm sorry for that. I also have a random note in here about some things that are still missing at the party's base camp where they left all their NPCs. I guess I will carry that forward in my footnotes so that I don't forget about it when the time comes. Here's another thing that I'm going to have to consider. How am I in my notes going to keep track of the passage of time? Because it will be hard for our player characters to do that. Happy construction season to all of those who celebrate. Oh, that does remind me of something else that needs to go into my notes for last session, though. Oh god, which means I need to go back and clean up the pre-rolls that I did. It's a disaster. Go to the file location. Where in God's name? Okay. There we go. I wish I could show. I don't know. There's a part of me that wants to just be like, hey, you know what? Working Wednesday is spoiler central. Like, buyer beware. But I don't know. I kind of like keeping the mystery alive. There should always be a mystery. Agreed. 20-minute stop on the highway on the way home. Wait. Oh, because of the construction. Sorry. I didn't put 2 and 2 together there for a second. Dang. Yeah, I'm really sorry. Tomorrow is going to be tough. You will get through it. I believe in you, but it is going to be hard. Yeah. Yeah, audiobook's a great suggestion there, Tom. Okay. I had more to do for the session 40 notes than I thought I did. But this is still good. Will be helpful. Just finished the latest Sanderson book. Oh, which one is that? We've been on a bit of a kick of some other books that Pixie had gotten into after we finished Tress, so we haven't done any more Sandersons yet. There's some like light romantasy, but it's like 90% fantasy with just like a little more explicit romance than you might otherwise expect, but it's mostly just fantasy stuff. Man, one thing that I like, I periodically wish this. I would love to be able to do some more like visual storytelling, like some either generated images or to have an artist do some stuff or whatever. But the last like 10 minutes of the last session, I think would make such a cool visual. Kind of like the mystery of what's going on. Okay. The episode 40 notes are actually done now. How are we doing on time? Actually, we're doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. I'll take it. We'll probably go a little over before we go to our break, though. If we can get the session 41 note structure like finalized before then. Good evening, Lily. How are y'all? Isles of Emberdark. Definitely not one you want to pick up without having read most of the Cosmere. Got it. It was good, but you think Dungeon Crawler Carl screwed up what your expectations for book pacing are? Dungeon Crawler Carl, that's not Sanderson stuff, right? It's totally unrelated. Junior got his learners today. Oh, exciting and terrifying. Have fun. Be safe. Yeah, on the note of Sanderson pacing, now admittedly, I've only read 2 of them, and both of them were parts of the standalone, like secret project books. So take this with a grain of salt. But one thing that really stood out to me from Frugal Wizard's Guidebook to Surviving Medieval England and stayed true in Trust of the Emerald Sea as well is right. Well, okay, yeah, I guess it's technically, but it's still very standalone. I guess there's only just like some nods to other stuff in Trust. But still, what from a pacing standpoint, which doesn't have anything to do with whether they're Cosmere or not, they're very front heavy. The endings for both of them, especially Frugal Wizard, but the endings for both of them have felt a little bit lacking. Isn't really the right language for it, and not exactly rushed either. Like somewhere halfway between, like a little bit too fast and lacking a little bit too much substance. Like for how much build there is, and I love a slow burn, but like for how much world building and narrative building and whatnot there is, it feels a little like if we were playing DM, it feels a little bit like DM Fiat. Not quite Deus Ex Machina, but you got a lot of like, well, okay, the thing happened because the thing needed to happen, kind of a feel at the end of the books, at least both of those that we've read so far. Like I don't know if it's like really fast because like it's supposed to feel exciting, but it ends up because of how much detail and how much emphasis there is put on the journey. It does kind of make the ends, at least of those two books, feel like they're lacking a little bit. Still enjoyed both of them, but I found the end, like a couple chapters, to be a little bit jarring in both of them. You asked me if you want to drive home, and he's like, "No, I'm not ready yet." Fair. Does he have to take some sort of class or whatever first? I would assume. Or has he already done that? Or I don't remember where we are on that situation. Yeah, it's weird because like I don't want to say that it feels rushed at the end. It kind of does, but that just doesn't feel like quite the right language to me. It feels more like too thin at the end. So like the result ends up being that the end passes quickly, but it doesn't necessarily like it just feels like it gets very hand wavy. Whereas prior to that we get lots of like, well, this person did this because this person did this, so then this person did this, which led to the main character doing this, and whatever. And you cut out like the first three steps of that in the last couple of chapters, and then you just get like it ends up feeling almost like the character like steals all the agency that they didn't have in earlier in the book, and like applies all of it in the last couple chapters. Or the initiative, I guess, not the agency. Although arguably those are more or less the same thing. He can if he wants to do the first driving test earlier than a year. So if he goes to driving school, he can take the first driving test in 8 months. If not, he has to wait a year. Got it. That's kind of interesting. In Washington, I think you have to take a class before, like, you have to drive with some sort of trained instructor before you're allowed to do any sort of like, driving via, parental supervision or anything. Oh, for sure, T-Bomb. Yeah, highly recommend. But yeah, like I said, to put it in D&D terms for the Sanderson books that we read so far, it ends up feeling like the earlier parts, the early, the first 80-90% of the book is like a sandbox D&D adventure, and then the last 10% feels kind of on rails. Yeah, for sure, Tom. And I can kind of see that, but I'm a big fan of, even in like highly connected storytelling, that like each story should stand on its own. So if what's happening is we're scrubbing the individual story, like the impact of the end of the individual story a little bit in order to get the meta impact, like I get it, but I don't love it. Right now, he can drive with anyone who has had a full license for at least 4 years. The Indiana brother gets to get his license once he has all his requirements, but he has to wait 3 months after his birthday. Yeah, it's so yeah. That's we talked about that. I find that very strange. Like, what? I've never really heard of requirements like that being like, oh, your birthday plus 90 days or whatever. Like, what? It's usually just on your birthday. It also allows you to get lower insurance after the first test. He can drive on his own. He has 5 years to get his full license. If not, he has to do everything all over again. Can't see you love YouTube stream interface on mobile. You keep making weird typos, and there's an emoji floating at the bottom right of your screen that covers the bottom. Yeah, yeah. Live streaming on YouTube, like they came in like a wrecking ball when they added live streaming and added a bunch of features to it and everything. And then when the streaming wars started cooling down, the guy at YouTube who was like the CEO of live streaming or whatever, however they titled that, left, and then like it hasn't had any future updates since then. It was like a very good start of going from like no product to the product that we have. Like that part was impressive in the time frame that it happened in, but then they've just let it founder, which is a bummer. Oh crap. Am I off on my dates by one? Yeah, they also have kind of an interesting feature for the YouTube streams, which Twitch is in the process of adding, but there's a weird side effect to it. You can actually pause and resume the live streams and then try and like catch back up or whatever, which is neat. But the kind of like collateral damage there is that the streams generally slowly fall behind, just like fractions of a second at a time. But usually you'll end up like if you're in a YouTube live stream for a while, you'll usually slowly end up being like a noticeable amount behind. Hey, Kale, are you still here? Or anybody else who watched the last session? We started on the 17th day of late spring. Clear and calm heat wave. Um, we moved into the 18th day of late spring where it was overcast with a strong wind. Did we go another day? Because I remember talking about the wind lessening, but the wind wasn't supposed to lessen until the 19th. I'm trying to figure out how much time passed. Did they start doing the thing that we ended with on the 18th of late spring or the 19th of late spring? I think we may have had a small continuity error there. Wait, is Twitch going to get rid of being able to have stream on while doing other things in the background? No, I don't think so. I haven't seen anything about that. I hope not. I'm going to go ahead and put the check mark on the prep E41 notes because structurally, at least, they're ready. I'm starting to get ahead of myself and filling in the details. But we do also need to fit XP in here. Probably do 45 minutes on the clock when we get back from break. You had rain yesterday. Not relevant. It lasted all of 30 minutes. It was hot rain. Yeah, we had like a little bit of intermittent rain, and then like a thunderstorm rolled through pretty quickly, and then was gone. Imris's notes are not good. You cannot help. That's okay. I think it's a small continuity error on my part, just while we're live. Yeah, I think just a boo boo. Because we started on the afternoon of the 17th. Things happened. Then they went searching for spell reagents and scavenging or foraging for food. They slept through the night. They got up the next day. I think the next day they started the thing they were doing. Which would be the 18th. Which is the day of strong wind. Yeah, I messed up and for whatever reason started also using the weather and stuff from the next day. Which is fine. I just wanted to make sure that we start the next session on the right day, which should be I'm pretty positive should be the Oh, no. I'm going to earmuffs again for anybody that cares about spoilers. 3, 2, 1. They started climbing the mountain on the 18th. They got like halfway up and then made base camp. And then we picked up on the 19th where the wind lessened, and that's when they climbed beyond the snow line. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. So I guess in that case, Tim, we did use 2/3 of the rolling that we did last time. We used more of it than I thought we did, which means I have more fixing to do here. Well, yeah, we were gonna do more rolls today anyway, but also we only carry one of one of the batch of rolls from last time forward instead of two. There we go. Okay. Well, I finally pieced it together at least. How far over am I? Oh god, it's already coming up on 45 minutes. Rip. Rippity doo dah, rippity day. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right. Okay. This is the kind of stuff that we'd have to just like if we were playing a table game and I wasn't necessarily doing as much prep as I do for content, I would have had to have just like made a ruling in the moment and moved on. But since we have a chance to preserve our continuity, I wanted to take the time, make the effort to do that. So when we get back, we've got XP to hand out. That's only going to take like 5 minutes. Then we need to pre-roll some weather and some encounters, but that's going to take a little bit because I need to build charts, probably. At least basic charts for those things. And then we'll look for virtual tabletop boards if I have time. If I don't have time, I'll just do that on Saturday before the stream. In the meantime, we're going to take a 5-minute stretch potty break. I would encourage you all to refill your waters, get up, move around a little bit, and oh my god, sorry, multitasking. I would encourage you to get up, move around a little bit, refill your waters, and make sure you look at something at least 20 feet away for at least 20 seconds because it's good for your eyes. We found an undead inquisitor of the god of destruction. Almost had an important sword destroyed by your make. Oh, very cool. I like that. So I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock. While we're gone, I'm going to do a Pokemon Go battle, and when we get back, I will let you know how it goes. Wish me luck. All right. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Not only winner, actually, but crushed. I didn't even pull out my third Pokemon. So you get three Pokemon in total, and you get two uses of a shield ability to protect a Pokemon from like an attack, like a special attack. And I defeated his third Pokemon before I even had to pull out my third one, and I still had one of my shields. So stomped on. You have no idea how Pokemon Go works now. You played it while it was collection only. It was neat, but a little dumb. Yeah, and I particularly like the battling part of it. Collecting them is fun and all, and the raiding can be fun if you're doing it like with people. But I like the battling the most. All right, let's do XP because that'll be quick, so we can mark another thing off. We don't always go in order on my to-do list down here, but I think we more or less will be this time. Party folder, XP tracker. Get out my how much XP we give for things cheat sheet here. So we do session XP followed to just kind of generally cover like base role playing and just like the incidental things that happen. And then and I do a range for that kind of depending on how the session went. And then we give individual XP for, you know, particularly good role play moments or particularly selfless acts in combat or near death experiences or, you know, really good role play negotiations or that sort of thing. I'm thinking this much for the session. Oh, wait. I almost gave Rubato XP, though. He was not able to be here. Session absent. 0. You would, T-Bomb. You would. Wow, I just tried to type minor and my fingers were off by one and I didn't realize it, so I typed MOMPR. Momper! Not even close. Not even in the right zip code, honestly. I did just think of another thing that needs to go into the session 40 notes. There we go. XP. Is there anything else that really calls out to me as like specific XP that needs to be awarded? I guess a very small. I know what it means now. I know later I'm going to look at this note and be like, what does that mean? Why did I give Druge experience for falling down? It's fine. If you watch the episode, you know. Okay, there we go. XP has been assigned, and I prepped that for the next use as well. Let's get over here. Give myself that little check mark. And encounters / weather. Right. So let me grab the relevant book here. This is the most microest of spoilers, but I don't think so to any significant degree, so I'm not going to call for earmuffs. This is Frostburn. Mastering the Perils of Ice and Snow. Very cool book. Amazing. There's winter and there's dire winter. Page 21. You need some XP. We all need some XP. I could definitely use some. Get out of here, Loch Ness Monster. Man, I don't know. I don't know how to use all this. Also giving multiple categories of things. Being the Undead Inquisitor got you enough XP to hit level 30. Nice. I don't know how to read these entries. It's kind of weird. Brain types below are presented using the format found in Chapter 3 of the Dungeon Masters Guide. Why? Just copy paste the instructions into this book. Our streamer buddy, the Phil Dill, and then he's bringing a buddy also. But the buddy can only stay for the first half. That's the change. I did think about keeping it a secret, but I don't know if enough people in our community know Phil to to make that into like a huge hype thing or whatever. Age 87. Okay. Okay, this is at least formatted the same way. Does it tell me how to read this table? Yeah, it'll be a good time. Okay, it's just random, but the trunk of a typical tree has 4 armor class, a hardness of 5, and 150 hit points. Awesome. You get 1 third level and 2 fifth level spells, 1 feat, and 1 investigator ability. The investigator ability allows you with a successful hit attempt to steal an item without. Ooh, very cool. That just tells you how strong Steve in Minecraft really is. I'm feeling a little bit bogged down on this and not like I'm making a lot of progress. I'm going to move on from the terrain for the moment. We're going to look at the weather aspect. For details on the specific hazards, effects, and game mechanics of high altitude zones, see page 90 of the Dungeon Masters Guide. There's so much cross-book cross-referencing happening here. That's very annoying. It's not even like this book was a super big book. They could have easily just included it. Oh, right, Lily. Well, they wanted us to buy more books, more specifically, but also that. Low peaks or high passes, 5,000 to 15,000 feet. All non-acclimated characters labor to breathe in the thin air at this altitude. Characters must succeed on a fortitude save each hour. Difficulty class of 15 plus 1 per previous check, or be fatigued. Fatigue ends when the character descends to an altitude with more air. I feel like I should write that down. It feels like it's going to be pertinent. Does the low air pressure come into play? Oh, as far as like ranged attacks or anything? Not necessarily that I remember, but maybe? But we need to double check the ruling on fatigue, because I think if you're fatigued and you would become fatigued, then you become exhausted, right? Well, hello, Isadora. Good to see you. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I like this version of D&D so much, Tom, is because it's essentially a reality simulator. 5th edition generally wouldn't bother with most of what we're looking at right now. You're mostly thinking about altitude sickness. Oh, well, yeah, then that in that case, that's what more or less what I was just talking about. Yeah. That's they use the state, the game state of fatigue to represent that. So then let's look up fatigue. Edition summary. Fatigued. A fatigued character can neither run nor charge. It takes a -2 penalty to strength and dexterity. Doing anything that would normally cause fatigue causes the fatigued character to become exhausted. An exhausted character moves at half speed and takes a -6 penalty to strength and dexterity. Woo-wee. After 1 hour of complete rest, an exhausted character becomes fatigued. A fatigued character becomes exhausted by doing something that would normally cause fatigue. Okay. And then I'll hyperlink the condition summary. Okay, so then here's a question, though. Acclimatized characters. Creatures accustomed to high altitude generally fare better than lowlanders. Any creature with an environment entry that includes mountains is considered native to the area and acclimated to high altitude. Characters can also acclimatize themselves by living in high altitude. Oh, for a month. Okay. I was gonna say maybe they can become acclimatized. I mean, yes, but but also no. I saw that, T-Bum. Yeah. I am. I think mostly we did a pretty good job of pacing how much of our Final Fantasy stuff we opened and whatever, but I do kind of wish that we had held and or sold the last couple collector boosters that we had, and we knew it at the time too, and I kind of talked myself into / let myself be talked into um opening the last few. A month seems long, right? It is a slow process, but a month seems long. Characters who spend more than 2 months away from the mountains must reacclimatize themselves when they return. Okay, but not if they have Schrodinger's Golden Chocobo, right? But not if they have a racial like resistance to mountainous regions or whatever. So what we need to look up is gnome. Does Rubato as a gnome have mountain stuff? Like ecologically. Oh, actually, no, because he's a different subrace of gnome. Never mind. Answer my own question. No regards. Each pack both contains and doesn't contain a golden chocobo until you open it. It's true. It's true. Oh my gosh. Stop autocorrecting Skabosh to scratch. Scratch boss. Filling your sealed box for profit. Only way to have no records. I mean, honestly, you probably should. What did you pay for it? You paid like 600 or 700 for it, right? But as long as they're so small. If you climb Everest, it takes 4 to 6 weeks. Sure, but I mean, Everest is on like the extreme end, right? How tall is Everest actually? Like 17,000 or something? I actually don't know. Oh, holy frick. No, it's so much taller than that. It's 29,000. Good God. $752 after tax. I mean, that's still a tidy little profit. Scratch is a good rogue name. It really is. It really is. Especially if you were like a were rat. Okay. So we looked at altitude sickness. Do I even need to look at the rules for just being cold? They're almost certainly going to be exhausted, just because of the altitude anyway. Oh God, no! Because being cold is so much worse. Oh, okay. One pro wrestler climbed Everest and filled. Wait, really? Unprotected characters must make for being cold. Unprotected characters must make a fortitude save each hour, DC 15 plus 1 per previous check, or take 1d6 points of non-lethal damage. Characters whose protection against cold is at least level 1 or higher, such as a cold weather outfit, are safe. Oh, that's freaking sick, Tom. Let's go. Yeah, I knew Denali was pretty significant. Okay, so I guess we do want to keep track of that as well. On that note, T-Bomb, do you know what the internal temperature of a Tauntaun is? You know, like how humans are 98.6? It's lukewarm. I'm under attack. Yeah. Okay. Have a good call. Also, Isadora and Tom and Lily and Tim and Looney and T-Bomb. I didn't even get through all the rest of it. She's just yelling hi from the other room. Okay, right. Then we have cold danger. Yeah, they really are woefully unprepared for this. Okay, so we've dealt with altitude sickness and cold. Now we have frostbite. Frostbitten extremities become numb and pale as the supply of blood decreases due to cold temperatures. Stated in Chapter 8 of Dungeon Masters Guide, a character who takes any non-lethal damage from cold or exposure is beset by frostbite and suffers a -2 penalty due to his dexterity score. Touching metal with bare skin can cause the moisture on your skin to freeze to the metal. When you pull away, you may leave a layer of skin behind. I gotta be careful on Mount Denal. Oh boy. That is where goblins hid their gold. They can be brutal if they think you like it. Okay, then we have hypothermia. In any situation in which freezing temperatures are present, hypothermia is potentially a lethal risk. Hypothermia is a condition that results from the lowering of the body. Yeah, I know what it is. As stated in Chapter 8 of the Dungeon Master's Guide, a character who takes any non-lethal damage from cold or exposure is beset by mild hypothermia and therefore treated as fatigued. Immersion in chilled water. Once a character succumbs to mild hypothermia, he becomes susceptible to moderate and severe levels of hypothermia. Any character with mild hypothermia who fails a fortitude save to avoid the effects of cold or exposure is beset by moderate and so on. Any character with moderate hypothermia who fails a fortitude save to avoid the effects of cold or exposure is beset by severe hypothermia and is treated as disabled. So disabled is a specific state in D&D 3.5 wherein you can only take one action per turn, and if that's a strenuous action, then after you complete that action, you take damage and begin dying. Where are the levels of hypothermia, though? Oh, do I have to go back to the Dungeon Master's Guide for that? Slash the SRD. Sorry, I have a lot of reading to do this time. At least I made progress on this part, though. So what are you up to today? Anybody that's on the newer end of tuning in, Isadora and T-Bomb and whatnot. What are you guys up to? How's your day? This is kind of weird that. Oh, there it is. Moderate hypothermia is exhausted. It's like it defines mild and severe, but not moderate. But moderate is exhausted. Although, let's be honest, they're almost certainly going to be struggling from altitude sickness anyway. So by the time they actually get any hypothermia, then they're just going to be exhausted anyway. Meh. I'm sorry, it's not better than that. Just finished your bi-weekly session. Oh, nice. Making progress. You want to wrap up the story by October and switch to a new campaign next year. You're looking at Vason? I'm not familiar with that. What is that? Okay, now it's getting into like snow blindness and crevasses, etc., etc. Okay, they do have a random weather table for us. However, I definitely am going to want to modify that for where we are. Go free. Done with worko? It's a Nordic horror role play based heavily in folklore. Oh, very cool. Who's the publisher or whatever? I'm not familiar with. Obviously, I'm not familiar with it. Random shards. Free League Publishing. Yeah, I've never heard of them. Very cool though. I hope you guys have you played it before? I know you said you were newer to TTRPGs, so I'm assuming probably not. Very cool. I hope you guys have a blast with it. For $1. No, I think the weather part, I'm going to scratch that for what we're doing today. I will have to deal with that on Saturday before session. So we need weather. We need biome / ecology. Okay. The last two things that I want to do today in our 10-ish minutes remaining here is want to look at some encounters. And then I want to look for some boards for our tabletop. Oh, right. And the supernatural perils of the Frostfell. Probably not going to get into that part right now, but the supernatural perils of the Frostfell are dire weather. Dire weather. Under dire weather, we have acid sleet, blood snow blizzard, death hail, the howl of the north, razor sleet, and rust flurry. Then also there are some diseases, which cabin fever, cold fire, ruin, creeping frost, and winter rot. Interesting. And then magical terrain. We have acid slush, blood snow, ebony ice, fairy frost, lightning pillars, negation snow, razor ice, rust snow, and snow geysers. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that right now either, but I'll just include let's say need supernatural dangers. I need to make a random chart for all that, and that's gonna take longer. / frankly, that'll be easier for me to do off stream. Do they have any suggested random encounters or anything? Monsters of the Frostfell. That'll probably be useful. Magic of the Frostfell. Ooh, adventuring sites. Delzomen's Ice Forge and Ice Razor, the Iceberg City. Those both sound cool. Oh. I forgot that this came with this. In the back of the book, there's a couple of pre-printed like light paperweight little battle mats to use. I have to angle them just right so they're not getting totally blown out by the lighting. Dinner time, good luck with encounters. Make sure to include a frost slime. Ah, yes, slimes are fun. Let's read a little bit about these two locations real fast. Delzomen's Ice Forge, ancient ruins. Presented in this chapter are 2 sample locations that can serve as adventure sites for characters in the Frostfell. Likewise, each site has some guidelines on how you can incorporate it into other terrains or climates. Each location is fully detailed, but no specific adventure hooks or plots are included, so you can use each one as you see fit. So, Delzomen's Ice Forge. Ancient ruins and forgotten dungeons can be found in the Frostfell, as in any other realm, to have ever felt the touch of civilization. One excellent example of such a forgotten complex is Delzomen's Ice Forge, a dungeon sheathed in blue ice and created for one purpose, to build an army of Simiculara. Ooh, cool. Hello! How you doing, Lee? Discord just gave you the notification. Oh, it was like an hour and a half ago. The history of Delzomen's Ice Forge. Yeah, that might be a little spoilery, although I'd retheme it for our world. Oh, there is some inspiration here, though. It could be ruins of something belonging to like someone else who came to this area to use it for nefarious purposes instead of only having the inhabitants that normally live there. Nice, Looney. You were surprised I was still alive? Yeah, we had a lot to get done today. We have been fairly productive. Encounters is not marked off, but we did get a start on that, as similarly with weather. You're okay, working at 5:30 in the morning, so I gotta head to bed soon. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming by. Okay. Well, so we got a good inspiration there. So I'm glad I stopped and looked at that. We have Ice Razor, the iceberg city. The polar seas are well, that probably wouldn't really make sense. I guess, yeah. With it being called the iceberg city, I should have pieced together that it was going to be something that was meant to be like in the water. I do freaking love the name of Ice Razor, though. That's cool. Oh, this is such cool artwork. Check this out. Sorry, the lights are meant for faces, not for books, but you can mostly see it. There's like a little boat down there. It's like an ultra rocky island, but iceberg instead. Yeah, that would be really cool. Being as we're up in the mountains, I think it would be unlikely. I guess there could be a lake with icebergs. Holy crap, this area is huge. Okay. Some more inspiration. I'm not going to directly use either of those, but some good inspo. All right, let's look through the monsters section really quickly here. Whoops, speaking of inspo. And then we'll look briefly at our virtual tabletop. Is there a random encounter chart built for the monsters by chance? I love the art style for 3.5. It's so good. The Midgard dwarves, the Glacier dwarves. I do believe in our Monday campaign that Thorfinn is a glacier dwarf. Crap. No, there's no random encounter table. Okay, so we'll have to build our own. Unless it's at the back. Look in the back. Nope. Oh, Snow Goblin. I love him. Oh my god. Okay, I'm going to take these two things out. They're cool, but they're getting annoying for holding the book up to the camera. An ice beast gargoyle. No way. An ice toad. That's a horse or like a wolf or something that it's eating, by the way, for scale. Banana for scale. Oops. Wolf. An ice gaunt. A special type of undead. Neanderthals. No orcs. Wait, what? White pudding. Oh, it's a type of ooze. White puddings are smaller, cold-adapted relatives of the black pudding and one of the rare oozes that thrive in winter conditions. They live amid ice floes and coastal shelves and hunt seals, penguins, and other creatures that inhabit pack ice. Their kills are often completely silent since they smother and consume small prey. White puddings are voracious and do not sleep. Their most active cycle is during the night when their lack of strong vision is less of a hindrance, but they also stalk prey during daylight hours. When prey eludes them, they can survive by dissolving plant material, but this diet seems to eventually sap the creature's reserves of some vital foodstuff. Huh. Never heard of pudding as a type of monster in D&D before. That's new. A giant raven. What? That's freaking awesome looking. That's an orc next to it, by the way. Also, that other thing on the other page looks cool, too. Like crazy tentacle cold fire thing. The Rhymifier Eidolon. I'm assuming from the picture this is going to be like a siren, but for the cold instead of water. A snow spider. I have used those before. A spirit wolf. A Tlalosk. That thing looks sweet. Okay, I think there's definitely some cool like things to potentially encounter here. What is that? An Erskine. They're a race of intelligent, tool-using, bear-like creatures that rule over large areas of tundra and boreal forest, despite their relatively small numbers. Their alignment is often neutral. Dude, the artwork for that? That's probably a little hard to see, but it's wearing like spiked leather armor and has like a giant hammer. Of course, like Yetis and that sort of thing. Okay. Well, I think we've got, having looked through it now, I have a good handle on the types of things that I would throw in a random encounter chart. I've got a lot to do on Saturday before session, but... Cool. The ice worms, yes. Okay, cool. So let's do some poking around now to see about any boards that we might be able to use for Tailspire. So we'll go down to here. Oh. Scuba. Hey, we go back there. I don't know if we'll scuba or not. Probably not this time, but we go back there in like 5 weeks. Very excited. So first things first, I know not too long ago, they actually added a bunch of stuff for cold environments to Tailspire. So let's just take, whoa, calm down. Take a quick look at that. I don't think, I don't know if any of that will show up in here. Wait, Bellow Gloom. What is this? When did this get added? Oh, what a wonderful, like, spoopy looking, kind of like semi-natural stone set. Oh, I like that a lot. Very cool. Okay. Okay. I see you. Even added rounded corners for it. Very nice. Not helpful for what we're doing right now, at least not directly. Although that could be like a cave underneath a glacier or something, right? So we've got Bellow Gloom, Castle, of course, no. Castle Ruins is neat. And could also be useful. Bellow Gloom's a little bit more natural looking, whereas Castle Ruins are a little bit more what's the word I want? Worked, but that's not quite the word I want. Manufactured. Cobblestones. Desert Village. Yes, clearly that's the tile set that we want for this. Dollar Harbor, Library, Marble Palace, Mega Dungeon. Thank you, Enola. Sleep well. Have a good day at work. That's sand. Okay. But this is snow, obviously. That's bigger snow. My God, it's so white. The albedo on that's crazy. That's desert, desert, desert. So we really do just get the 2 snow chunks. There's not even like, you know, something like this, but instead of sandy, be snowy. Can we do anything? Oops. Can we stack them to get like the rocks to show through? Nope. Yeah. Unfortunate. Palisade Wall, Ruined Temple, Rural. Doers, ships, the Shogun Palace. That's a really cool build set. I have not made anything with that yet. Oh, what are you? More white. It will be a day. Good will depend on how many more people call out. Already down 2. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, the albedo on the white walls from that set is crazy. Well, just all the white stuff, really. Tavern and Tempwater. So we don't get a ton to work with as far as terrain goes. What about props? Aberrations, camping, containers, crafting, fencing. Food and drink. Furniture. There could be some random stuff hidden in furniture that might be cool. Grim. Ladders, lights. The cold fire. We'll probably use that for some stuff in the area that we're in. Miscellaneous exterior. Cool random like rock shrine thing. Nice for flavor. Gravestones like gargoyles and stuff. Like statue. Whoa, it's huge. Oh, I wish that it didn't have like the moss on it. Cool model. Okay, so we've got some stuff to make like some cool ruins with or something. What's that? Oh. Yeah, lots of stuff for making ruins. Oh, here we go. You can sprinkle that kind of thing on some of the snow to help break it up a little bit. That's a little too much like a wall, but that one's a little better. Snowman. Seems a little on the nose, but so can we make? Oh God, what was that under? Nature. Yeah, there we go. What if we take that and go like sink it into the snow a little bit? A little better at least. Breaks it up. So it's not just white. There's some there's some ideas. What about on interior? Obviously, for the most part, it'll be things that only make sense inside, but yeah. Nature. Could stick some dirt in the snow too. Obviously, we can make trees. Oh, nice. We do have snowy trees at least. Okay. What's that? Oh, nice. That's a new prop, I think. I don't recognize that. Any of those. Those must have come. It looks like the same color palette as the below gloom stuff. I bet that got added in the same patch. Oh, yeah. 100%. Cool. Lots of just little like rocks and. Oh, that's nice. With the icicles on it and everything. Heck yeah. Oh, there we go. That's pretty good too. And it's got snow on top of it, so you could just like sink that. Get a little bit more terrain variety. Same with that. Okay, that's good. I like those. Those just look nice and harsh. The blue crystals are really cool. Some more plants and stuff in here I haven't seen yet as well. Haven't seen those before. Obviously not cactuses and stuff. But there could be like some crazy mushrooms or funguses or something. Whoa. Oh, nice. Some more snow blocks. Oh, the same thing. The albedo is just insane. Like my. Ooh, okay. Yeah, very nice. There's like as many chunks for the water. There's more, I think, chunks for the water than there are for just like straight up snow. But I think we can do some cool things with what we found in here. Ship, no. Signs, no. Splats, no. Traps and treasures. Not for this, at least. Okay. Cool. Then last thing. Let's get Tales Tavern open. Oh god, it's so much later than I meant to be on. Like this needs to get done, so it's fine. But I have so much more work to do after this. I'll turn it on so you can see what I'm doing in a sec. An Arctic mountain path with a hidden monastery. Think you're gonna head out? It's been a long day. No worries. Thanks for coming and hanging out. I'm sorry it's been a long one, but I'm glad you had. It sounds like a fun session. Hopefully we can see you, speaking of session, for ours on Saturday. But if not, have an awesome rest of your week and hopefully a good weekend. Nice. This one does not have a licensing limitation either. Because I do try and respect that kind of thing. Weird. There we go. Arctic Mountain Path with Hidden Monastery. It's a pretty cool board. I'll definitely save the link at least. Okay, so terrains. Oh, Arctic / tundra. Here we go. Apply filters. I think this is just a different version of... Oh, no, this is different. Arctic Mountain Path. I like the bridge with the icicles and stuff hanging off of it. Whoa. Oh, hello. Got a whole thing. An Adiug. Well, both of those boards seem cool. And neither of them have licensing requirements. This one is... Oh, sick. This is from Genghis, who we have permission to use his boards in our games. Freaking look at that. That's so cool. That first picture is just like the money shot, though. That's so nice. Holy crap. That was only page 1. It's a dungeony one that we might potentially want. There's 32 pages. I'm definitely not going through all of them. A cool, like, undead-y sort of spot. Journey through the snowstorm. A neat terrain. Oh, made by the same guy. That makes sense. The Arctic Ritual Site. That's freaking cool. Okay. A few of these I don't want to show off in case it ends up being, particularly like spoilery or anything, and we do use them. Winter Toll Bridge. A sled. Sorry, to grab something. Just a few more pages. I'll go through the first 10. Woo, look at that one. Very cool board. That one was made by Dark and Echo. And requires attribution, which fair enough, because a crazy amount of work went into that. An icy bridge. Very cool. Fortress of the Snowy Horde. Oh, so cool. Bad guy fortress to attack. Love you. Oh, love you too. Have fun. Yeah. All right, and one more. An Arctic Shipwreck. Enchanted Winter Forest. A winter cabin. Nice. Okay. Well, we finished 3 of the things, and we did a lot of the legwork that we needed for the other 3 things on our to-do list. I feel good about that. And I do need to get wound down here. If you've been having fun, if you're not already a follower of our work, we live stream all sorts of games, but including our D&D games on twitch.tv/HereThereBeMonsters. And as far as the D&D side of things goes, there it goes. We upload all of our D&D sessions here to youtube.com/HereThereBeMonsters, and we have some D&D original content that we're hoping to create and upload here beyond just session stuff, but like some original content here on YouTube as well. If you like trading card games at all, we have a second YouTube channel that focuses on trading card games, especially Magic the Gathering. That is https. youtube.com/@a-couple-of-packs. How'd Codenames go? And welcome back. Our next D&D live session will be on Twitch this upcoming Saturday, the whatever that is, 28th? Nope, 26th. And Our next D&D video, although it will not be that session because we're a couple sessions behind here on YouTube, but our next D&D video, I hope also to upload on Friday or Saturday. Bought a head of lettuce from a small grocery store called Mama's and Papa's. Can't eat it because of all the leaves. Oh. I'm assuming that's supposed to be a joke of some kind that I'm missing. When Good was kind of crazy. Codenames is a great game. I've been wanting to play Codenames actually for a while. Also, if you had fun today, if you haven't already had a chance to do so, please don't forget to hit the like button. It's a nice, easy, free way to help us out and tell YouTube that you like what we're doing and that they should show it to more people. I will be doing a Working Wednesday stream again next Wednesday. That's Wednesday the 30th. We usually start between 3 and 3:30 Pacific and go for 1 to 2-ish hours. So thank you all for being here. Take care. And as always, oh, did I just close it? Nope. Okay. I misclicked on something. Take care. And as always, be excellent to each other.